Your YouTube channel be so fine making 3 positive videos in a row, and then bam, you watch Wonder Woman 1984 and you no longer have joy in your life. I'm kidding, of course. Wonder Woman 1984 didn't stomp on my dog or give me the shingles virus, but it is a little stinky. It's got some good in it for sure, but you can definitely smell it from across the break room. Joe, what the fuck did I tell you about bringing Wonder Woman 1984 to the office? This is your 5th HR complaint of the week. Wonder Woman 2, guess who's back? Steve is back. Tell a friend is a certified mess. For one thing done right, something goes wrong, and that's me being generous. After giving some time to stew on it, I feel like, more accurately, if for one thing done right, 2 things are done wrong. It sucks because I don't like to dislike movies. I know it may be entertaining to see the silly popcorn man say the funny swear words about the dumb poo-poo movie, but I want to enjoy movies. I've never wanted a movie to fail, and I never will want one to fail. So given every benefit of the doubt and given way too much leniency on my part, this movie still just does not work. Spoilers ahead for Wonder Woman 2, what the fuck is going on with the DCEU? That is the official title. I am a very reliable source for information. I think most problems in this film can be summarized with one example, and that's the first 15 minutes of the film where we have 2 opening scenes. Opening scenes are great for setting your tone and establishing your main theme. Now Wonder Woman says, what if we did both these things but in separate scenes back to back over the course of 15 minutes? What a galaxy-level brain play by Patty Jenkins. Truly, why not just do 2 opening scenes? Actually, fuck it. I'm putting 13 opening scenes in my next movie, so I'll be able to do 13 different themes. I've defeated the system, boys. The 2 opening scenes that Patty implements are the Amazon race for the golden popsicle and the mall heist that immediately follows. The Amazon race establishes a few things. 1, that this is an action-adventure movie. Fucking duh, I know, but still important to point out. Wait, Wonder Woman isn't a surreal David Lynch-inspired flick? That isn't very poggers of you, Miss Jenkins. The most important thing that the first opening scene establishes is the theme of the movie. Nothing good is born from lies, and the truth is heckin' epic sauce. Wonder Woman 3, she fights Big Chungus and defeats him using her anti-Chungus karate. It would be very funny, because the big rabbit is really funny. The second opening scene does nothing besides establishing the tone significantly better. Patty needed to find a way to combine the fun energy of the second scene with the theme establishment of the silly Amazon race. Filmmaking is all about efficiency. Every scene needs to serve a purpose. You have 2 hours, sometimes 3 if Big Daddy Warner Bros. Will give you a scrap of budget, and that time is incredibly valuable. Films move fast, and one action set piece that you need in order to sell the movie can sometimes take up 10% of your flick. Time is money, and I've got $350 in my wallet, and I'm using that to purchase a Catgirl from Japan, so chop chop, Wonder Woman, we gotta keep things clicking. I think Pedro Pascal, his character, and his performance really encapsulate this idea of one step forward, one funny 1920s slapstick pratfall backwards. This is different from Gal Gadot, who takes one step forward and immediately runs backwards, chugs a bottle of wine, and passes out 1 minute into the race. God, she's just so bad in all movies. Please, someone stop her. Whatever funny experiment her career was needs to end. I'm no longer laughing. Being the complete opposite of Gal, I think Pedro gives a lot of life and depth to his character that would be, and let me say this clearly, dog shit without him. His writing at times is truly something astounding, and I'm surprised Chris Terrio wasn't behind it. Every time I see bad dialogue in a movie, I think it's Chris Terrio, writer of such amazing films as The Rise of Skywalker and Batman v Superman. He's my personal boogeyman, and yes, I do have my mommy check under the bed for him at night. Pedro's performance during the final act starts to dip into what can only be described as crack. It just doesn't quite work for me, you know, just a bit too much. I think the biggest disservice done to his character is revealing his motivation and his backstory during the last 20 minutes of the film. He's revealed to be fueled by bullying from both his family and his peers. He wanted to escape his reality, his truth, and he would do anything to do that. That's not bad writing, actually. I low-key like that. But, and this is a big-ass but, I'm not gonna like it if you reveal that shit as he's making his turn away from being a naughty man. What the actual fuck? Again, I swear it's Chris Terrio behind this shit because only he could do this. Me and him are ideologically opposed. I think movies should be good, and he, my friends, has a serious disagreement with that idea. I honestly love the stuff between Pedro and his son, and all that stuff is good, even if Pedro is forced to do these really emotional scenes next to another fucking puppet. Because yeah, the child actor in this flick is kinda stinky. Here's the thing though, can you imagine how much better those scenes would be if we knew the relationship between Maxwell and his dad at the start of the film? It would give that dynamic so much more power and emotion. I do think it's pretty interesting that it's Maxwell pushing the theme along mostly. I know Wonder Woman has her thing with Steve and how since he's born out of a lie that's not good because she's losing her powers, but like, they don't really tackle this well in my opinion. I mean, yeah, she's losing her powers, but she seems mostly fine besides that. Pedro, on the other hand, making wishes come true, lies in a sense, brings destruction wherever he goes, and is much more effective at pushing the theme. Diana needs to be shown in more distress and pain. She also needs to be seeing more consequences for her actions besides things that just happened to her. This Wonder Woman is one of the most empathic heroes in the DCEU. She's a lot of fun, and I think it would have been perfect to have her tackle the consequences of putting Steve into this poor man. Maybe give the previous owner of that body a wife, just something so Diana can have some introspective challenge that isn't just focused on her. In all honesty, she feels like a passenger in her own movie until the end when she finally has some semblance of agency and defeats the stinky, naughty, and dirty bad guy. I actually really love when comic book movies don't have the climax be a big dumb punching battle. I mean, it's not automatically bad when it does that, but bonus points if you get creative, because I love creativity. I'm actually very creative, and I know this because my mom tells me every time I bring her a picture to put on the fridge. Diana talking to people, telling them to give up their wishes and not be selfish could have been great, but it doesn't feel earned. It felt like Diana didn't have authority to speak on the matter because nothing really that bad happened to her while Steve was brought back. Sometimes characters need to be motivated by strong influencers in drastic situations, and one of those times is now. She needs something more, because Wonder Woman 1984 feels like it's missing a key element because of it. Speaking of key elements, how about that visual style, or rather lack of one? Fuck the marketing of this movie and the posters. I thought this shit was gonna be really stylish and lean into the 80s aesthetic super hard, but it looks like any other comic book movie with a splash of color here and there. Why is every comic book movie afraid of color? I swear every director of these films pisses their pants when they see a woman walk by them wearing a sky blue t-shirt. I mean, I also pee myself around women, but for different reasons. I just genuinely hate cowardly movies. It's my biggest pet peeve. If you're gonna do something, fucking do it, dude. Are you that scared of not appearing cool that you can't lean in and do some fun stuff? I honestly hate it here. It's why I love the Guardians movies, Thor Ragnarok, and Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. These movies work because they have no semblance of cowardice in their bones. I want a Wonder Woman 1984 that lives up to its name, one that embraces the silliness, and it does at times, but it's not enough. I'll never give points for half effort. You never half-ass two things, you whole-ass one thing. Funny Parks and Rec reference, which, by the way, is better than The Office, and if you would like to disagree, please tell my secretary. She'll be happy to put you on the list to lick my balls. I think the last thing I want to mention is how the film is a complete mess plot-wise. It's genuinely pretty fucking insane, kinda hard to follow, and I have no idea how it made it past the drafting room. I honestly wouldn't mind the insanity if they weren't cowards about it. You can't do a fun, wacky comic book plot and pretend to be a serious piece of media at the same time. Realism isn't the end-all be-all, but I had this exact same problem with New Mutants, and it isn't quite as bad here as it is in that pile of bat guano, but it's still an issue. You can't have it both ways. You need to lean into one or the other. Just please pick one, I beg you. I want the silly plot, but I also want it to feel more in line with the rest of the film. At the end of the day, I'm giving Wonder Woman 1984 a 3 out of 10. It's a bad movie. It has some nice ideas and a nice performance from Pedro at times, but it's a gigantic mess from start to finish. Hope you enjoyed the review. Please make sure to subscribe and follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/theworstcritic. Thanks for watching. Farewell.